All right, I'm about to go live. Just a moment, it's setting it up, and then we should be great. I'm about to go live.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Prem. So we are live. I will quickly do the introductions and then I'll hand it over to you. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on whatever time zone you are watching from. Today's webinar is an introductory webinar about REFNWRITE, which is a Microsoft Word add-in. I'll not talk a lot about it because our guest speaker today will talk about it. My name is Faizan Ali, Assistant Professor at College of Hospitality and Tourism Leadership, University of South Florida, Sarasota, Manatee. My background, pretty much all the viewers already know it, so I'm going to skip this one, quickly go through stuff. I'll talk about my YouTube channel. Here's the QR code, and you can scan the QR code to subscribe to the channel. Pretty much looks like this. All the videos are about different research methods and different tools and techniques for researchers to improve their effectiveness and efficiency. So recently I saw Anita Adnan from Doctorate Support Group on Facebook. She was trying to promote REFNWRITE and she tried a lot to write about REFNWRITE and how important it is for researchers. I picked it up from there, and then I approached our speaker today, who is Dr. Prem. He is right now a research scientist at the Breast Cancer Research Center at Royal Surrey Hospital in the UK. He is also one of the co-founders of REFNWRITE. Now, Dr. Prem is very helpful, and he was very kind to accept the invitation to talk about REFNWRITE and how it can help researchers to improve their efficiency and effectiveness in terms of writing specifically. Dr. Prem has had his PhD from Brunel University, London, and he has worked at Natural History Museum and University of Surrey for between 2009 and 2015, which is 6 years as a research associate, and then obviously 4 years at the Royal Surrey Hospital. So Dr. Prem, I will hand over the mic to you. I'll stop sharing my screen so you can share your screen, and then the floor is yours to talk about REFNWRITE and obviously about yourself as well.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Right. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, slides. Okay. So good evening. It is at least it's evening in the UK. So first of all, I would like to thank Faizan for inviting me to give this presentation. I am one of the co-founders of REFNWRITE. Before moving on with the presentation, I would like to say just give a brief introduction to myself. I did my bachelor's degree back in India. Then I came to UK to do my master's degree, and then I did my PhD. Then I worked as a research scientist at the University of Surrey. It was during my time at the University of Surrey, I came up with the idea of REFNWRITE. The REFNWRITE software tool was initially created to help me write my research papers and PhD thesis. And later I shared the tool with a lot of my friends and colleagues, and it became quite popular within the institution. And just later I commercialized it. The company, the REFNWRITE, was founded in 2012, and it's been active for past 6 years. Okay, so what was the motivation behind REFNWRITE? So why was the tool created? As I told you, it was predominantly created to help me write my research papers. So I'm guessing most people who are listening to this presentation are either PhD students or researchers or academics. So I don't have to emphasize the importance of academic writing. So if you are writing a research paper, or if you're writing a PhD thesis and you are required to use a formal writing style, right? So it means that you have to use scientific terms, You have to use subject-specific vocabulary, and your document should be referenced properly. If you're using somebody else's work, and it needs to be referenced properly, and you should avoid plagiarism. So particularly, you should avoid copying large chunks of text from other documents into your paper, which is fine provided it is referenced properly. Okay, and so these were some of the issues pointed out by my academic supervisor when I was doing my PhD thesis. So I'm not a native English speaker. I'm from India. I'm a non-native English speaker. So the main motivation was to create a scientific writing tool that would help non-native English speakers with their academic and scientific writing. Okay, so the main features, there are quite a few features to REFNWRITE, but the core idea can be split into two parts. So I wanted to create a tool that would allow me to search through previous research papers or reference materials within Microsoft Word. So in essence, I wanted to create my own personal search engine. So it's basically, I wanted a software that would allow me to search through documents as I would on Google or Bing, but within my mission. So I choose what documents to search, and I wanted the search results to pop up within Microsoft Word when I'm writing. So that was one of the core features. That is one of the core features of REFNWRITE. Okay, and the reason why this information is quite important is because we can practice something called as imitative learning. So what is imitative learning? So when you're writing something, right? So imitative learning is a process of just having a look at other people, having a feel for how other people have said, your peers or researchers have said what you're trying to say. So you learn, so you get a feel for the type of vocabulary and type of English phrases used in previously published documents, and then you adapt your writing accordingly. This process is called as imitative learning. So this is essentially what happens when you write your paper and your supervisor goes through the paper and makes corrections, right? So he gives you suggestions and advice as to how to improve your writing skills. In essence, you're doing it, in essence, using this tool, you're kind of learning yourself by importing papers from your peers. And you can gather writing and language ideas. And you can, although it's not a full-blown plagiarism checking tool, to an extent, it does some plagiarism check, and it also helps you reference previous papers. Okay, and the second, the most important feature is it contains the world's largest academic phrase bank. I think I can safely say that, because it contains approximately 20,000 academic phrases, and these were manually extracted by academic experts from 3,000 research papers. And it's been categorized into various categories and subcategories, and it is a fully searchable academic phrase bank. Okay, I will show you this feature in the demo in a few minutes time. But this is something we built over. It took us 3 years to build this phrase bank. So it's basically a bunch of academic experts going through high-quality scientific research publications and PhD theses and manually extracting phrases from those documents and categorizing them into different classes and subclasses. And it is part of the REFNWRITE tool. Okay, and so I would say there are a lot of other features which I'll go through in a moment, but broadly, the motivation behind REFNWRITE was these two. We wanted to achieve these two. We wanted to incorporate the ability to be able to search, import and search previous papers, and build a big academic phrase bank. All right, so let's move on to the demo. So that all right. So you can download REFNWRITE from refnwrite.com. Right, so there are a lot of training videos under training videos that explains you how to use REFNWRITE. And you can directly purchase REFNWRITE from the website. And there's a 15-day trial version. So you can download the free trial version and try it out and see whether you like it or not. And that is, we have made a part of the Academic Phrasebank available online. So you can have a look at the phrases in the Phrasebank. And you can even sort of get paraphrasing ideas. And you can get writing ideas. It is basically a cut down version of the full Academic Phrasebank that you get with the full version, right? This is for people to try things out. Okay. Let's move on to the demo. Okay, once you install, and as I told you, REFNWRITE is a Microsoft Word add-in. So it means that it operates within Microsoft Word. So once you install REFNWRITE, you will see this tab appear. You'll see the REFNWRITE tab appear, and you will see the buttons under it. So this is within Microsoft Word. Okay, and okay, let's say I'm writing a research paper, right? So you would have some reference papers. You would already have collected some reference papers that you would like to reference or cross-reference during the writing process. And also you would have your own research papers related to the topic you're writing. Because ideally, when you're writing a journal paper, you would have written quite a few conference paper before moving on to the journal paper. So you would want to recycle some of the text you have already written in the conference papers, right? Okay, let's import those documents into REFNWRITE. How do you do it? You do it by dashboard, clicking on dashboard. And this is where you import the documents. Okay, for demonstration purposes, what I've done is I've created 2 folders. Okay, so and one folder contains my previous publications. Okay, another folder contains reference papers, the scientific journal papers that I have downloaded, which I would like to cross-reference during the writing process, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import these documents into REFNWRITE. Okay. So how do you do it? It's fairly straightforward. You just simply drag and drop the files. Okay. So you go to dashboard, and let's rename library 1 as reference papers. Rename it. Now I'm just going to drag and drop the files I want to import under reference papers. Just drag and drop, select all, and import. So what happens here is REFNWRITE goes through the PDF documents. It extracts the text from these PDF documents and imports it into REFNWRITE. It is creating an index for you to search through. All right. And then let's create a second library, and let's call this My Papers. So I want this library to contain my previous papers, right? So let's rename it as My Papers. Let's drag and drop my previous papers that are related to the current paper I'm writing at the moment. Drag and drop, start import. And there you go. So I have created 2 libraries, one with reference papers and one with my papers. So then here in the panel here, the option here refers to, you have to specify what library to search for search panel 1, for the results to be displayed in search panel 1, and what libraries to search to display results in search panel 2. So there are 2 panels that will pop up from the bottom with search results when you search for something in REFNWRITE. Okay, so what I'm saying here is, can you show me results from reference papers in search panel 1, and can you show me the results from my papers in search panel 2, right? And I'm saving the settings, and okay, let's close this, and let me write something here. So mammography. So since I'm in breast cancer research. I'm going to write something related to breast cancer research. So mammography is the most common screening technique used for breast cancer screening. Now you just simply have to select the text and hit search, and you'll see the so what you're seeing is search results from the papers you just imported. So, so these are the results from the reference materials, and these are the results from my own papers that I imported. Does it make sense? So essentially, what you have created is you have created a search engine for you to search through the papers you imported. And it basically does a full text search and searches through the text in the PDF documents and brings up similar sentences from the documents you imported and displays it in the search panel below. Okay, and if we want to expand on this, if you just click on, so what this means is this comes from a paper, Diaz et al., and this text occupies line number 9 in the PDF document. Okay, so if you want more information, if you want to expand the text, you just click on the link, it brings up the passage, right? And then if you click further, what it does, it opens the PDF file, and it even scrolls to the page from which the search result comes from. So for example, let's expand this. So it looks like there is something, I have written something similar in one of my previous papers. Let's click on it and expand it. Just click on this link, which opens the file from which the text in the search results panel comes from. Right, so you'll be able to sort of create multiple libraries. You'll be able to import hundreds and hundreds of documents, and you'll be able to search through those documents quite easily. So it is a proper search engine that operates within Microsoft Word, and you choose what documents to search through. Right? Okay, this is the search bed of REFNWRITE. And if you want to search further, let's say you can select this piece of text in the search result, and you can search further by clicking show similar. So what REFNWRITE does is it takes the piece of text you selected in the search panel. It again goes through the documents you imported and searches for similar statements in the imported documents. Right? And just let's move on to the next feature, which is the Academic Phrasebank, which I was bragging about when during the first part of my presentation. And so you can access the Academic Phrasebank by clicking the Academic Phrasebank button, which brings up the entire Phrasebank in the panel to the left, right? And you will see each, the phrases are organized into different categories, and each category contains a lot of subcategories. So introduction, you have phrases related to importance of topic, and you can access the phrases stored under each of these categories by just simply clicking on the link. It will bring up the phrases in the bottom panel. So you'll find each category has plenty of phrases attached to it. So let's have a look at the literature review, right? The sort of things you would be required to say in literature review when you're writing a scientific paper would be, you have to give an intro. Okay, we present an overview. Here is an example. We present an overview of literature that relates to the work presented here, and a well-studied topic. There are many studies in literature, and recent literature, seminal or pioneering work. So there are a lot of categories. It goes all the way from introduction to materials and methods, measurements, technical statements, data analysis, statistics, results, what type of results do you want to report? Is it a positive finding? Is it a negative finding? Interesting findings, expected findings, unexpected findings. It pretty much covers sort of themes or sort of statements you'd be required to make when writing a research paper. So there are approximately 20,000 academic handpicked academic phrases that ships as part of REFNWRITE. And one other feature I would like to show is you don't have to, because as I told you, there are a lot of hundreds and hundreds of categories and subcategories, and it's not really possible for you to sort of go through all the categories and subcategories every time. You can actually search for the categories by hitting the writing idea. Let's say you want to write something about statistical tests in your research paper, and you simply have to statistical test and just select and hit writing ideas. It searches through the phrase bank and brings up all possible categories related to the text you selected in the Microsoft Word document. Okay, so you have category called statistical tests, statistical significance. There is a category on significance level, hypothesis, testing and evaluation. So you don't have to manually go through the entire phrase bank to find phrases related to the type of statement you are trying to make. Okay, and another important feature is paraphrasing. You just simply select the text you would like to paraphrase and hit paraphrase, which searches through the phrase bank. It sort of searches through the bank of 20,000 phrases and brings up phrase templates relevant to the statement you are making. So you get a lot of writing ideas. So the point I'm trying to make here is I'm trying to say that mammography is the most common, is widely used technique for breast cancer screening. So you could say a common technique is to so it is a common technique used for, as recommended by, in total of 5 methods representing common schemes used in the literature. This is the most popular technique. So obviously it gives you ideas. This is particularly useful for non-native English speakers, and it gives them a head start, and it gives them language ideas, and it gives them a collection of phrase templates with similar meaning, and they'll be able to sort of pick and pack phrases and words and construct statements appropriate to the stuff they are writing. All right, so and we have word choices. If you're looking for a better word choice for the word common, just click on word choices, and it gives you a list of replacement words, and it also color codes it depending on the frequency of usage in previous scientific documents. And the read option, it basically reads the text back to you. And one of the most effective ways of proofreading is to just grab a cup of coffee, close your eyes, and let the software read your research paper back to you, and you are more likely to pick up grammatical errors and other structural issues when somebody reads the paper out to you, which you would easily miss if you're skimming through the paper yourself. And there, again, with settings, everything is kind of a lot of things you can change. The type of the font of the search results, the size, the color of the highlighted text, and number of results you want to display. By default is 25, but if you want more results, that is changeable under settings. And number of results you want to display per document. Let's say you are importing hundreds and hundreds of documents, and you do not want all your search results come from one document. You want to limit the search results from each document to maybe 2 or 3 sentences. So this allows you to limit the number of search results REFNWRITE would display from a particular document in the library. And by default, it doesn't use synonyms. It searches for the text as it is. But if you want to use synonym during search, it would it would look for synonyms as opposed to looking for exact words. It would look for synonyms of the words that you're searching for as well. So it offers, so you'll get more search results and more relevant and as well as irrelevant search results, because you're looking for synonyms as well. It comes down to individual taste, and so it's the same thing. And as you can see, what am I doing here? Used for, utilized. Yeah, so it not only looks for the word used, it also looks for different variants like used, using, useful. It also looks for the synonyms of the word used, like utilized, and then it looks for the variants of the word like utilized, utilizing. So it is much more extensive than a simple search. All right, so that is a gist of what REFNWRITE is all about. And it's the good thing is everything happens within Microsoft Word. You don't have to leave Microsoft Word, and you won't run into any copyright issues, because these are documents that is stored on your computer. So I'm assuming, and if you have those documents on your computer, then you have permission to use those documents. So yeah, you're building a search engine for yourself on your computer within Microsoft Word. So yeah, so there are plenty of tutorials online, and we have thousands of users using REFNWRITE all over the world, and it was created by researchers for researchers. And it's not a subscription model. It's a one-off payment, and it's a lifetime license. There's no need to renew the license every year, and you get free updates for life. And so we have an active community of researchers and PhD students using it, and you will see a lot of questions being asked in community forums, and a lot of people responding to those answers, and we answer questions in the community forums as well. So yeah, and we have a technical team here. They'll be happy to help you out if you're stuck, and if you have difficulty using the add-in. We normally aim to respond to questions within 30 minutes. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you, Prem. Well, I was listening to it and I was very surprised. I mean, I can clearly see that there's a lot of thinking that has gone into it, and to every aspect, like the fact that you don't have to leave Microsoft Word and stay within this platform and do all this stuff. It's just brilliant. And plus, you also talked about the copyright issues. So if anybody is downloading papers from non-copyrighted sources, REFNWRITE won't be responsible for it, because REFNWRITE is pretty much like the Windows search function, which searches within your computer and laptop, right? So it's pretty cool. Thank you very much, Prem, for taking the time and explaining REFNWRITE. I'm pretty sure that people would be very happy to know about it, those who obviously didn't know about it. And as you said, there's a technical team, and if anybody runs into any problem, they can obviously message. Yeah, you're also on social media and you're very responsive, because that's how I approached you. And so there's a REFNWRITE Facebook page. If anybody who has got any problem, you can obviously go to the Facebook page, or even the website has the support center where you can ask your questions and you can get answers for it. Once again, thank you very much, Prem, and congratulations on having this brilliant softwares on your hands.
Thank you. Thanks for the invitation. It was a pleasure to be part of your community. Yeah.
Of course. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.